Good morning, students. Today we will have a new poem. The title of the poem is An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum by Stephen Spender. Okay, and Stephen Spender is an English poet. He was born in the year 1909 and died in the year 1995. He was not only a poet but an essayist. So today we will have a poem written by him, and I have already declared the title. The title is An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum. Okay? Yeah, let us continue by reading the introduction. Stephen Spender was a poet and an essayist. He left University College, Oxford, without taking a degree and went to Berlin in 1930. Stephen took a keen interest in politics and declared himself to be a socialist and pacifist. One who advocates peace is called pacifist. Books by Stephen Spender include poems of dedications, The Edge of Being, The Creative Element, The Struggle of the Modern, and an autobiography, World Within World. In an elementary school classroom in a slum, he has concentrated on the themes of social injustice and class equalities. Children, please remember the theme of the poem is social injustice and class inequalities. It is very much clear from the title that it is all about an elementary school classroom that is in a slum. And you can just imagine a slum and the children living there or people living there. They may not be living in a luxurious way, whereas they may be leading a life with poverty and misery. So children, let us learn the poem now. Before you read, have you ever visited or seen an elementary school in a slum? What does it look like? So you can just imagine a classroom in a slum. Slum, a very poor area, a dirty area. You may have seen in big cities, one side it would be a posh looking area, whereas the other part it will be a slum. In Delhi, in Bangalore, in Mumbai, we have seen all these places. Okay, so the poem is consisting of 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs. Okay, and we will deal with the paragraph, stanzas. We call it stanzas in poem, stanzas in detail. Okay. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor, the tall girl with her weighed down head, the paper seeming boy with the rat's eyes, the stunted unlucky hair of twisted bonds, reciting a father's gnarled disease. His lesson from his desk, at back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young, his eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game in the tree room other than this. Okay, first of all, let me explain the first stanza. The poet is showing us a classroom and the children sitting in the classroom. So it is far, far from gusty waves. These children's faces like rootless weeds. Okay, children and their faces are compared to rootless weeds. You know what will happen to weeds without root? There is no energy in these children. They look like tired, lethargic. Okay, the hair torn round their pallor. Actually, the first stanza deals with the physical appearance of those children studying in the slum. The hair torn round their pallor. Their hair is not combed properly. It is in a torn condition, hair torn round their pallor. Pallor here stands for paleness of face. Okay, they are not in a robust condition, they are not in a healthy condition, their face is deprived of energy. So pallor, all of you write down, the word meaning pallor is paleness of face. Okay, note down the first difficult word, that is pallor. What is the meaning of pallor? Paleness of face. P-A-L-E-N-E-S-S of face, paleness of face. The tall girl, there is a tall girl sitting with her weighed down head. It doesn't mean that the head is very heavy for her. She is very tired. So she kept her head down, maybe on the desk. The paper seeming boy, another boy who looks like paper. Paper means very thin boy. Paper seeming boy with rat's eyes. His eyes just like that of rats. You know, rat's eye. Rats are always afraid. Its movement, you can see the movement of a rat's eye. It shows fear. Okay, so like that the boy is not confident here in the class. Okay, just like that of a rat's eye, his eyes are not confident. Okay, he has got fear, he has got lack of confidence. The stunted unlucky hair of twisted bonds. And many children sitting in the slum classroom are with stunted. What do you mean by stunted? Prevented. Okay, you write down, stunted means prevented from developing. Okay, write down, prevented from developing. Unlucky hair. You know what a hair is? Not the hair that you have on your head. The follower of twisted bonds. People with twisted bonds. You know what is twisted? Not in proper shape. Twisted bonds. Reciting a father's gnarled diseases. Another difficult word for you is gnarled. Okay, write down the word gnarled, and the meaning is twisted. Okay, or deformed. Twisted or deformed. I cannot write here, otherwise I would have written deformed. Very difficult to write. Deformed, right? Fine. So gnarled disease, his lesson from his desk. Okay, the boy is sitting there with a what you call inherited disease from his father. That means they are not in good shape physically. They have their own weakness. At back of the dim class, one boy is there, unnoticed by the teacher, sweet and young. Okay, he's a very small boy, sweet and young. His eyes live in a dream. You can see in his eyes dreams. And what is he dreaming? Of squirrel's game. He can see through the window the squirrels playing, the squirrels game in tree room. You know what tree room is? The hole on a tree where these animals like squirrels, birds live. So what is tree room here? It's a place of living for animals like squirrels or birds. Okay, in tree room. Other than this, the boy's attention goes beyond the classroom, or through the window he could see the squirrel game outside. Okay, distracted from studies. So children are not in good shape. First of all, they have some inherited disease from their parents, And another girl, you can see the tall girl with her head weighed down, maybe malnutrition. Okay, and another other children with hair torn, and they don't have that robust look on their faces, pale face. Okay, I hope the first stanza is understood by all of you. Is it very clear? I recite once again. Far, far from the gusty waves, these children's faces like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor, the tall girl with her weighed down head, the paper seeming boy with the rat's eyes, the stunted, unlucky hair of twisted bonds, reciting a father's gnarled disease, his lesson from his desk at back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young, his eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game in tree room other than this. So you have had an idea of the children in the slum sitting in the classroom with all these problems, right? Now the poet is focusing his view on the infrastructure of the classroom. On the second stanza, on sore scream walls, donations, Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome, riding all cities, belled flowery tireless valley, open-handed map, awarding the world its world. And yet, for these children, these windows, not this map, their world, were all their features painted with a fog. So children, you can see the color of the wall of the classroom. What is the color? Sour cream wall. It is not well painted. It gives a dirty look. Sour actually taste, sour taste. Sour mango, sour grape, So here the poet has used the word sour because the wall is not looking fresh. Okay, and you can see donations. People have made some donations. You can see Shakespeare's head there displayed on the wall, and a cloudless at dawn, civilized dome, posh looking cities are there on the wall, decorated, belled, decorated, flowery terrace valley. The valley, picture of valley is there. Open-handed map, and there is an open-handed map in the classroom awarding the world its world. That means actually the world shown in the classroom on map that belongs to the rich people, and these poor children cannot have an access to these places. Okay, these are all donated thing by people, and it is all decorated in the classroom, but these children can never reach to a world mentioned on the map. And yet for these children, these windows, this classroom and the window, okay, are their world, not this map, their world. The map mentioned is not their world, but the classroom, the slum classroom and the window, where all their futures painted with a fog. Poet says they have no good future ahead. Their future is painted with a fog. What do you mean by fog here? Fog stands for ignorance. Dear children, write down, fog here stands for ignorance. Fog. You know the literal meaning of fog. When a cloud is there, when it is about to rain, there could be fog in the air. Or in winter season, you can see fog. Okay, so here their future is not clear, not bright. It is foggy, not clear, and it has another meaning, that is ignorance. Their future is in ignorance. Is it clear? Two more lines are there from the last second stanza. A narrow street sealed in with a lead sky, far, far from rivers, caves, and stars of worlds. Actually, in the map, we can see a world of luxury, whereas these children are living in a dirty condition in the slum, and the street is narrow for them, sealed, closed in with lead sky. Okay, and in contrast with that, far away rivers are there, capes are there, stars are there, but these children are deprived of all these things. That's what the second stanza is all about. Okay, we continue. Surely Shakespeare is wicked, the map a bad example, with the ships and sun and love tempting them to steal for lives that slyly turn in their crammed halls. From fog to endless night, on their slag heap, these children where skins peep through by bonds and spectacles of steel with mended glass like bottle bits on stones. All of their time and space are foggy slum, so blot their maps with the slums as big as doom. Okay, now we have already come across that in the second stanza that there is a image of Shakespeare on the wall. Actually, surely Shakespeare is wicked here. According to poet, Shakespeare has nothing to do with these slum children. Actually, Shakespeare is a great dramatist. Okay, he has written many dramas, many sonnets, and he is very famous. And his literature cannot be accessed by these children studying in slum. Their educational standard is not that good to understand the work of Shakespeare. So poet says Shakespeare is wicked here. Okay, Shakespeare is wicked. Actually, Shakespeare is not wicked, but these children cannot reach the level of Shakespeare's language or his work. The map a bad example, and the map mentioned in the second stanza is a bad example, and these children can never reach the world mentioned in that map, with the ships and suns and love tempting them to steal. Actually, when seeing such a good map or the good image, children will have the temptation. What is temptation? Liking to steal for lives that slyly turn. Okay, what do you mean by slyly turn in? Write down. Go to bed. Turn in here stands for go to bed. And for lives that slyly turn in their crammed hole, and their place of living, I told you already, is just like a dirty place, and it is like a crammed hole, small holes where rats are living, like that situation. For lives that slyly turn in their crammed halls. Okay, from fog to endless night. What do you mean by fog? I told you already, fog stands for ignorance. Dear children, fog stands for ignorance. And endless night. Actually, here endless night stands for death. Okay, from ignorance to death. Their journey is from ignorance to death on the slag heap. Okay, what do you mean by slag heap? The heap of waste material, especially metal. Metal waste material is called slag heap. On their slag heap, these children wear skins peep through by bonds. Actually, with these lines, the poet is highlighting the poverty level of these children in the slum. On their slag heap, these children wear skins peeped through. Actually, skin is peeping through the bonds, means they are very poor by appearance. There is no strength in them. Their health is very poor, and their spectacles of steel with mended glass. What do you mean by mended? Repaired. They don't have proper glasses, total good spectacles to wear, and that spectacles they have worn looks like that of bottle bits, piece of bottle bits on stones. Actually, the physique of the children is compared to stone. It is very hard, something hard. There is no flesh in on their body. All of men, all of their time and space are foggy slum, foggy, full of fog. So blot their maps, spoil. Blot here stands for spoil. Another difficult word, children, write down, spoil. Spoil their maps with slums as big as doom. Doom. Another difficult word for you here is doom. Death or ruin. Write down, death or ruin. Death or ruin. R-U-I-N, ruin, right? Death or ruin. So the third stanza is all about the poor condition of children being highlighted. Okay, one thing. Another thing, poet highlights the image of Shakespeare, and he calls Shakespeare wicked here. Actually, these children cannot access the literature of Shakespeare, and the map shown in the classroom is bad example, because the life shown in the slum is in contrast with the life shown on the map, the rich map showing the rich people, whereas the poor children living in cramped halls, right? And they go to their bed, that is their hall, and their life is full of struggle from fog to endless night. Fog stands for ignorance, I told you already, and endless night is nothing but death. And they are sleeping on waste materials, slag heap, waste materials of metal, these children, and the skin is peeping through the bones, and spectacles worn by the children are compared to bottle bits on stones. Okay, and they live throughout their life in foggy slum. That is their death, or that is their ruin. Unless governor, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs. Break, oh break, open till they break the town, and show the children to green fields, and make their world run ashore on gold sands, and let their tongues run naked into books. The white and green leaves open, history theirs whose language is the sun. So very beautiful line you can see here. What the poet is advocating now. The poet wants the help of governor, inspector, visitor to help these children. The poet is saying, unless these people turn to help these children, they will spoil their life. This map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs. If these people do not help these children, their lives will be like catacombs. What do you mean by catacombs? The textual meaning is given for you. Catacombs, here you can see catacombs, right? Catacombs there, meaning a long underground gallery with excavation in its sides for tombs. Tomb, you know, the place where dead bodies are buried. So in the tomb there will be many portion. Okay, many chambers will be there in the tomb where these dead bodies are dumped together. The names catacombs before the 17th century was applied to the subterranean cemeteries near Rome. So their life will be like that of catacombs. Okay, it's clear? Catacombs. Yeah, catacombs. And break, oh break, open till they break the town. So let these children break open their windows and come out from the slum to the town, and show the children to the green field. Let these children be taken to green field ahead, and make their world run ashore on gold sand. The bright blue sky is called ashore. Run ashore on gold sands, and let their tongue run naked into books. Let them be educated. Let them read books. Run naked into books. The white and green leaves open. Let them be exposed to the nature. The green field ahead. The green leaves open history their whose language is the sun. And let them make their own history by getting themselves educated, and with their language is the history they will make. Their language is the sun. What do you mean by language is the sun? The language is the sun here means the sun is a symbol of energy, and that remove the education. Here it is a symbol of education. Sun actually removes the fog. I told you what fog is. Fog is ignorance. When sun is in its full brightness, for example, when sun is in its full brightness, it can remove the fog. Okay, the same way when these children are educated, they can remove their ignorance. So sun and fog, you remember, fog stands for ignorance and sun stands for energy, the light that removes the fog, that means education. When these children are given proper education, they can remove their fog, they can remove their ignorance, and they can have a good life ahead. This is what the poet wants for the children. Actually, their future is in fog. It is already mentioned. Their future is painted with a fog. But the poet wishes that these children be saved, these children be lifted. There should be an uplift for these children, and who are responsible for this? The governor, inspector, and visitor. They can only help. And if they do not help these children, their lives will be like catacombs. Let dead bodies buried inside the tomb. Okay, so I hope all of you understood what I wanted to say. Actually, the first stanza detail the physical appearance of children. The second one showing the contrast of the children and the rich civilized places which are shown on the map. And in the third stanza again, poet says Shakespeare is wicked and the map a bad example, and the living condition of these children in the cramped halls. And it's a journey between fog to death, endless night. And finally, the poet advocates these children be helped by the help of governor, inspector, and visitor. And let these children break open their window and come out of the slum to a beautiful nature outside, and let them be educated, and let them have the warmth of the sun, the warmth of education that removes the ignorance of fog. I hope all of you understood. Now we'll come to that what you call figure of speech used. The first figure of speech that you can see here is far, okay, far from. Here you can see f, three times repeated. Such thing is called alliteration. Okay, repetition of consonant sound, that is called alliteration. Is it clear? That is first one. And the second two words, gusty waves, is an example of onomatopoeia. What do you mean by onomatopoeia? The sound that echoes the sense or meaning. The sound that echoes the meaning. Gusty waves. So from the word itself you can understand something connected to that sound of the waves, gusty waves. Okay. Then in the next line you can see like. The word like or as is used for making simile. Okay, you know simile. What is a simile? Comparison is made between two dissimilar objects using the word as or like. That is called simile. Okay, clear? So like children faces are compared to rootless weeds. So simile is there. Okay. Rat's eye, paper seeming boy with the rat's eye. This is also a comparison, but here there is no word as or like, so it is called metaphor. So metaphor is there. Okay. Sour cream wall, that again a metaphor, another metaphor. The wall is not very bright, sour cream is their metaphor. Okay, now again one simile is used here. Where is that simile? These children compared. Okay, from fog to endless night is there. Like, yeah, here it is. Like bottle bits of stone. Another simile. Si simile, not smile. Okay, simile. Okay, simile is there. Okay, children. So these are the things that you have to remember from this poem. And coming to the textual question, pick the item with the best answers the following. The tall girl with her head way down means the girl is ill and exhausted. Okay, the answer is the girl is ill and exhausted. Not has other options are there. Has her head bent with shame, has untidy hair. No, the first option is the correct answer. The paper swimming boy with the rat's eyes means the boy is sly and secretive, thin, hungry and weak, unpleasant looking. The answer is thin, hungry and weak. Option 2 is the correct answer. C. The stunted unlucky hair of twisted bonds means the boy has an inherited disability, was short and bony. The answer first one is the correct answer. I told you they have inherited disabilities, okay, or deformities. Question D. His eyes live in a dream. A squirrel's game in the tree room other than this means the boy is full of hope in the future, mentally ill, distracted from the lesson. Okay, what is the answer? The third option is the correct answer. Distracted from, not paying attention to his lesson. Last one, E. The children's faces are compared to rootless weeds. This means they are insecure, they are ill-fed, they are waste. Actually, insecure. Okay, the first option is the correct answer. So is it clear? First option here. Here the third option. And C is first option. And the other one ill, yeah, what is that? B, thin and hungry and weak, second option. Okay, and the first one already non, ill and exhausted. Okay, ill and exhausted. So children, try to recite the poem loudly and also silently, and write down all the word meanings properly, and also learn the figure of speech or poetic devices used, like metaphor I told you, simile I have given example, and also what you call alliteration, that is repetition of consonant sounds, and onomatopoeia, the first gusty waves. Okay, we shall wind up. I hope all of you have understood the poem An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum by Stephen Spender. Thank you, children, for listening to my lecture. That's the end of the poem. Thank you. Bye bye.